get as crazy or as simple. I remember my first cigar. Wow.
I just ashed on the table.
He's acting like a real father right now.
I'll allow it.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of WTF. That's the
Whiskey
Tobacco
Fellowship.
There you go. We got this down now.
Yeah, we do.
I think we do. So today, we'll get right to it. We are going to be doing a whiskey that I think Mr. Josh here just purchased. And tell us about it.
Well, this whiskey is a rye whiskey. We thought that would best pair with what we're smoking today. It's from Southern Collective. It's actually a brand out of Nashville. They're a sourcing company. They kind of get stuff from all over the place. What's really cool about this one is that it's from Missouri. And I've been doing my best trying to figure out what it is, exactly it is, for what distillery. I mean, we actually can't figure it out, which just kind of gives it a kind of...
It's kind of refreshing, though. It's kind of different from having all the Kentucky or Indiana stuff.
Yep.
Something from Missouri, it's a little
So it's not your normal MGP sourced rye whiskey. So.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And then today, we are joined by the illustrious, the famous, or infamous. Let's go with infamous. Let's go with infamous. Eric Parkinson, the rep for my father. What's up, man?
How are you? Good to see you, Devin.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me.
You're not my father.
So,
Where's the DNA test?
I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
Absolutely. Happy to
And
be here.
I love your cutter. We need to see if you can get me one like that. I like that.
I can probably do that.
Yeah,
So.
it's a My Father split cutter. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's got, anyway, I'm getting off track. Today, we are smoking.
Keep an eye on
He's
that.
a cutter nerd.
I'm a cutter nerd. We are going to smoke the Don Pepin 20th anniversary.
Yeah, man.
So,
Super excited about this one.
that's great. I mean, I'm really excited. It's got a general price point of around $40.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we'll keep it at that. And then, Garth, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're going to talk about? General subject. What we're going to talk about.
Kind of talking about the pairing with this cigar with whiskey or anything else, the history about it, the flavors and other notes you can find in this, and a couple of other products too that might be on the lower end, but I think are fantastic cigars and worth every penny.
Yep. This month is sponsored by my father. They have provided us with today's cigar and the next three. So if you like my father, or if you've never heard about it, you're about to know more than you wanted to know, to the point where you're probably sick about it. But to get us started, to get us started, because I really want to light this thing up, tell us a little bit about that one.
So the Don Pepin Garcia 20th anniversary came out in 2023 as sort of our first celebratory cigar for our 20th anniversary. It is based on our original blend, the Don Pepin Original. This blend, however, is a Habano Oscuro wrapper.
I love Habano.
Instead of our regular production line being a Corojo Oscuro. So
I love Oscuros too.
we
Love Habano. I can't tell you, in the past couple of years, and I would say most likely this year, my palate has shifted to Habano so much.
okay.
I even have a new litmus test for cigars.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Okay.
So I'm smoking it, right? Normal, everyday smoke. When it goes out, you got to relight it,
Sure.
smell it. If you like the smell of it when it went out, you probably really like that tobacco. If you don't like the smell of it,
Yeah.
that's
Why-
probably a
why
good
not for
indicator
you?
you're not enjoying it as much as you think you should.
It feels like Habano's gotten more popular here of late too.
Well, look, it's we grow a couple different kinds of tobacco down in Nicaragua, and we use Habano on a couple other lines, and we felt for this
Off the
anniversary,
top,
the Habano Oscuro just was a better fit. So it's a little older tobacco than our regular production stuff too. Our regular production cigars are anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 year old tobacco by the time the processing is all done.
Right.
This is substantially older. We also have a special tobacco in here called Pelo de Oro
Nice.
that we reserve for our limited products. So
Well,
just a slightly tweaked blend, but
this episode may have to go on an OnlyFans page because I'm enjoying
It
this
is so
way too
good.
much.
I've had this cigar once before, and it's from my good friend Josh over here. He gave it to my birthday, and it was one of the most enjoyable smokes I've ever had. And,
Yeah, this is pretty fucking fantastic.
yes, it is. And $40 is a lot, but I've had a lot more expensive cigars, and not as nearly as good as this.
Yeah.
I think the price range for this and the craftsmanship and what went into this, I think it's worth every penny.
I've had a platinum cigar that was more than this and wasn't as good as this.
well, thank you. Look, the reason for the price point is obviously it was our 20th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know, our wheelhouse for our regular production cigars are in the, you know, $9 to $15 range MSRP. So
Right.
we made 5,000 boxes of these.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it.
Yep.
So
It reminds me of the Jaime Garcia successor, which is a phenomenal stick that I hope you
is.
got a chance to try
very
because you
good.
probably can't find them anymore.
those are gone.
It's good to
Those
have
are gone.
friends in certain places to get certain
Well,
cigars.
let's get into a little bit more of the libation if you'll hand me the bottle because I have not poured yet. And I'd like to get my hands on this thing. Do you have anything else you want to tell us about this Riverstone Royale?
No, well, the only thing I would say, add on to it, it is going to be a cast strength rye whiskey, so of course it's going to have some bite to it. So if you guys have to grab some, don't be afraid to add a little bit of water to it. It helps cut out a little bit of the sharpness in there. We have let this open up and sit up for a little bit, just so that it can kind of proof down a little bit just by in the glass. But taste-wise, it is phenomenal. I've had a lot of rye whiskeys, and this is up there with one of my favorites.
It is good. What are you thinking, Mr. Eric?
I'm actually surprised how sweet it is.
Yeah. With a little bit of water,
Yeah,
it opens up.
I just did a cap full of water and let it sit for a little bit. But boy, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's got good legs on it.
Yep. It's a good one. Good choice there.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
How do you think it pairs with a cigar? Or are you getting certain notes you're picking up on?
You know, I am hesitant to tell you what notes I am picking up. I am going to tell you that I think it pairs wonderfully. And here's why.
Go ahead.
Right? Cigars as well as whiskeys are 100% subjective, right? What I taste, what my preferences and tolerances are, might not be yours, might not be you guys who are listening. So
Right.
I'm going to tell you that is a full flavored and full bodied whiskey, and I think that it pairs well with this full bodied cigar. Exceptionally, it's taken some of the earthiness and sort of elevated it, but that's about as far as I'm going to go for tasting.
I think you'd be correct on that. for
I was
sure.
going to say the
Yeah.
same thing. For me, it was like the earthy and almost peppery notes kind of come up a little bit more too, like it's
Yes.
just from the spice from the rye.
Yeah.
Both those notes for me elevate, which kind of helps because the whiskey is, like you said, it's a little bit sweet, and I think that also like the chocolate can also kind of pair well too
Yes.
together.
You know what I find interesting is the Habano. I keep harping on it because there's just something about that. It goes well with a lot of different libations because of the organic nature that is Habano compared to straight Oscuro or straight Maduro or Connecticut. Habano is like a beautiful middle ground, and it seems to go with a lot of different
It's the middle
libations. It's the middle child.
It's the middle child. But I think it's correct. I think the dark, earthy notes of a darker cigar is always, I think, going to pair well with a rye whiskey because it's earthy in nature. You're supposed to get those hints of spice, that burst of little kick, like you're chewing on cinnamon or something like that. But when you pair it with this,
Burst of cinnamon, wonderful.
it just mellows out, and I think it's a smooth experience.
Cinnamon's a good note. I like
So,
that.
do you have anything you can tell us about this beautiful band? Because you know I'm a band snob.
You are a band.
Oh yeah,
Because this is gorgeous. It's kind of a bronzed gold with a royal blue
that's one of my
mixed
favorites.
into a not quite a sky blue. It's a little bit darker than that, more of an ocean blue, and then it's got a crown on top. So, tell us a little bit about it if you know anything.
Well, our general manager in our Miami office, Alcides Montenegro, designs all of our bands. So this was hand designed by Alcides to cloak a nod to our beginnings. So he went overboard, and I think it turned out wonderful. I mean, look, there's an axiom that says you eat with your eyes first.
Yeah.
And I think that holds true with cigars. I think you go into a humidor and you see a pretty band and you immediately expect that the cigar is going to hopefully match up to your expectations. The band will sell it once. The tobacco will sell the cigar a second time. And so I think Alcides did a wonderful job with this. So.
Yeah.
I think it's similar to whiskey in general. Like, if you've never seen that bottle before in your life and you're trying to judge what's it going to taste like, you can't open the bottle in the store and be like, down it, close back, I don't like that, put it back on the shelf.
Yeah, that's
so you have to sell that whiskey on the label and the design of it at the gate.
Yeah.
You know what I think also sells this one is the wax.
Oh yeah, because it's extra effort to detail.
Yeah, a lot of extra effort.
Because they could have just put a cork in it and seal it and be done with it.
Yeah. Sure.
And be out the gate. Now, there are some whiskey brands that are simplistic in their design.
Right.
Where they just have their one logo and a little bit of details they have to legally put on there, like the proof and all that, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're fantastic whiskey, but sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
But I think if you same thing with cigars, if you're having an anniversary release, you want to be able to see that from a mile away, like, that's a beautiful cigar.
You want the customer to go, I'm keeping that band.
I bet that cigar is fantastic.
It reminds me a little bit similar to how much work Dr. D, or Josh here, puts into his hair.
Mm-hmm.
For all those listening, it's
what
very
happened
voluptuous.
He uses a lot of Axe gel. I'll just let you know.
Oh yeah, that's
I've
what
been
I
on many
use.
trips with this man, and he has a lot of product. But it looks fantastic.
The mousse.
Well, now it's
Very dry.
uncomfortable.
Now it's uncomfortable. Like I said, make on the OnlyFans page. This is getting weird.
But no,
Not yet.
Not yet. So you have sponsored us with not only today's, but 3 more weeks of this wonderful My Father brand, which grew faster than, in my opinion, most other brands so quickly in becoming a staple everywhere.
Well, thank you. I mean, it took us 22 years. But
22 years, yeah. Well, you compare some of the older ones that have been around longer than
it
that.
feels like you're super young, but you came out of the gates just swinging,
Yeah,
and that stayed and not really fallen off. If anything, climbed.
yeah. It's become one of my favorite brands to buy.
thanks.
It's one of those, I walk into a humidor and I go, which cigar is speaking to me today? Like the vibe.
Sure.
Typically, if my mind cannot make up something, it normally just goes, let's go to what we know is absolutely good in everything they do. And I'm not getting paid, even though they're giving us cigars. I'm not getting paid to say that. It's truthful. I'll tell you.
You want to tell you about my first My Father experience?
Sure.
It was actually at our local cigar store. We had a My Father, of the month, basically, where all we did was that month was have a bunch of specials on My Father stuff. So my first cigars I got to try was out of that kind of batch of cigars that I tried, and it was like, and I've been trying a lot of other things. I'm like, maybe here and there, but then like the My Father the Judge, that one,
Oh, the Judge.
dude,
The
it
Judge.
just hooked me on that brand ever since, and so.
Yes.
It was a hilarious, like one of the first like major brands that I actually like fell in love with and bought like half their stuff in the humidor. So I mean, for even a new cigar enthusiast who's trying to figure out what cigars they like, I'd grab a sample pack of all their stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
When I get new customers, that's generally where I take them, is the My Father section, because I'm
And
going,
don't be afraid to experiment too. I mean, try each end of their scale. So you try their cheapest stick and up to their highest stick if you can afford it.
Yeah.
But that gives you a broad range of their whole profile.
and natural. They taste like what real cigars tasted like when cigars were first made.
Yeah.
That's my selling point every time I talk to somebody about it. Just naturally.
But look, so over the last 2 decades, we have created a brand that we go from milder all the way up to fuller bodied cigars. So a brand new smoker can start and not be overwhelmed or pick the wrong cigar and have a horrible experience,
Right.
and can actually move through each of our brands and blends throughout their entire smoking career.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, like, I use the royal we. Sorry for touching the microphone. But that's Pepin's gift, right? Like Nicaragua has so much variety when it comes to soil, which in turn there's so much variety
Yeah.
in blends.
Like I said last episode, it's definitely my favorite place to get tobacco from, 100%.
Yeah.
Haven't had one bad cigar from there yet, honestly. And I haven't had a lot, but the few I've had
Yeah.
from there, it's been fantastic, I'd say.
And when we come back, we will tell you about the next 3 cigars that we're going to be smoking. And yeah, we'll be right back. And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Mr. Eric,
Yes, sir.
tell us about each one of these and what we're smoking. And if you have a recommended which one we smoke first, second, and third for the next 3 weeks.
Okay. So let's start with the blends. I've given you guys a La Dueña, a Pepin Vintage Nicaraguan, and our newest cigar, the Don Pepin Garcia ERH.
Yep.
Milder to fuller bodied, right?
Right.
La Dueña is our broadleaf Maduro Puro. So that's a wrapper, binders, and all fillers, a collection of Connecticut and Nicaraguan broadleaf, blended for Johnny Garcia, Pepin's daughter.
So that's the outline, the silhouette.
Yep.
His daughter. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
That is
That's
sweet.
So La Dueña in Cuban slang is the boss. So, but true Maduro, medium bodied. I think, again, hesitant to talk about notes, but with the true Maduro cigar, you're going to get sort of dry cocoa powder sweetness and coffee richness and earthiness to it. So
That's why I love Maduro. I've always
Yeah.
been a big Maduro fan.
Yeah.
It's like if you give me chocolate and coffee, I just nestle down in a nice corner somewhere.
look, it's a great combo. Next up, the Pepin Vintage. That is a Corojo 99 shade grown wrapper. Came out a couple years ago. I would consider that mild plus on the strength scale.
Okay.
A lot of flavor, blended to be, again, vintage is in there, so we wanted to maybe evoke some memories of a certain island where the Garcias were born.
I wonder which one that one is.
It's in the Antilles island chain.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the combination of that shade grown wrapper and the tobaccos underneath, again, full flavor, but not full bodied.
Right.
And then last but certainly not least, the new ERH by under the Don Pepin Garcia.
The Don Pepin.
I love that name.
Or just Don Pepin Garcia.
Yeah, or just normal.
Yeah, just normal. That's fine.
Yeah.
So that this is an Ecuadorian Sumatra Oscuro wrapper.
Okay.
So going to be a little fuller bodied, but with a Sumatran wrapper, I think a little bit more earthy.
Okay.
I think full flavored, medium plus body. I don't think it's aggressive. I think there's more earthiness and flavor to it than any brute sort of aggressive spice.
That's nice.
And as far as order in which to smoke, look, I think there's the first question you should ask yourself before you pick up a cigar is how much time do I have? So
That's right.
Yeah.
that
100%.
second question is what flavor am I chasing? If you feel like you want a mild cigar, start with the Pepin Vintage. If you feel that next week you guys are going to get into it and want something to bulk up or pair with another libation, start with the ERH, man. I don't think there's a right way. I think you need to figure out time smoking and flavor you're chasing and let that be your guide.
Well, the great news is I'm with these two libation nerds that are way higher in that scale.
I'm already
than I
thinking
am.
about what to pair with this one,
And-
and I'm already thinking it's going to be a peated scotch. Be
Right.
perfect with this.
So they will, I mean, like Mr. Garth right here will go through details that even I don't go through and pair. If you saw last episode, he paired it with that Ardbeg Ardcore,
Yes.
Man alive, that was a good pairing.
Peter Scotch, and it just
Honorable
brought all
mention,
the earthy notes out too.
but he
It's
won
like,
that
Oh,
day.
yeah, that was good.
You think it would contrast with each other, like it just clash, I should say, with being too much of one thing. But if anything, it just enhanced everything in a good way, not too much, and just perfect.
Look, that's the great thing about pairing, right? Like you can get as crazy or as simple. I remember my first cigar. Wow.
I just ashed on the
See,
table.
He's acting like a real father right now.
I'll allow it. But no, like, I think whatever you like to drink is going to pair with whatever you like to smoke.
Yeah.
Whether it's whiskey, whether it's bourbon, whether it's
Beer, could be beer.
yeah, beer or soda or coffee.
Yeah.
I
Coffee.
think
Don't worry, we will be doing multiple episodes in the future, pairing with different things besides libations, like coffees. Beer classifies as a libation, but in general, other things. I'm going to try to convince these guys
It's just insane. Don't
to
don't
find
listen to
something
him.
I can pair with
Nope.
Jaeger.
Nope. He's insane. It's a liqueur for one. He drinks it like it's milk.
Yeah, I drink it straight.
It's terrible. It doesn't
All the
taste
respect
right.
Mr. Eric had for me right now
I
just
don't-
disappeared.
I don't know what to say for the next 40 minutes.
I guess I'll just leave.
Thanks, guys.
It's been great.
No, again, that's the fun of it, right? I don't think there's one right answer.
No.
Right.
And that to me also goes. I think that translates too. There's not one correct way to cut a cigar. There's not one correct way to light a cigar. Storage, yes, 100%. But whatever your rules of requirement are to enjoy a cigar and to enjoy a beverage, do it. Make yourself happy, right? Like,
There's people that take a cigar and just lick the whole thing, and
Oh, we've got a customer who does that. I'm telling you,
before
Eric.
he even lights it,
He
just licks the whole thing.
cuts the whole thing, and then I'm telling you, he mouths the whole thing. He licks the whole thing up and down, and he says it makes it smoke better. And I'm telling you, he sticks the whole thing in his mouth.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans,
Episode is
yeah.
definitely keep on.
And he licks the whole thing and then smokes it.
okay, maybe I was wrong about the list of requirements. That's correct. But no, like,
An experiment. I mean,
Yeah.
Just take a cigar and say, "Hey, I'm really wanting to smoke this one right now." All right, now then you can set out a couple of options for you to taste. So if you have a somewhat smaller collection of whiskey, take you a bourbon, a rye, or whatever you like, and try with each. It doesn't have to be that one. You can find it that you like this one better with this, and this, and back and forth.
yeah. And the only thing I would add to that is if you're trying a new whiskey, start it with a cigar that you know.
Yes.
You want a familiar palate, right? You don't want a fresh palate to where you're trying to figure out two
Yeah.
totally, completely different things.
You're like, what messed up? Was it the cigar
Was
or
it
was
cigar
it
or
whiskey?
whiskey? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
So start with a familiar palate, and vice versa. New cigar, start it with a whiskey that you know, that's tried and true, that you know exactly what it's going to do to your taste buds and your palate, and
Experiment.
and experiment from there. So
And I'd say if you're new to cigars or you want to get into cigars and you're listening to this, My Father is a great starting point. I'll be completely honest. No bias, even though we all like them a lot. It is a great starting point for almost anything they make. Any cigar place you go into, if they've got it, just tell them you would like to buy a My Father. You're not sure what you want. They will guide you to the right spot.
100%.
Yeah, because you know what my two questions are for new people.
what are they?
Do you drink whiskey? Yeah. Okay. What kind of whiskey do you like? They tell me. You drink beer? Yeah. What kind of beer do you like? Because if they tell me they do lager or they tell me they do IPA, it
Two totally different cigars.
sends
Yeah.
me in different directions.
Sure.
So that's one thing you can think about if the person you're talking to doesn't ask you those questions. Just think about that for a second.
Well, okay. So here's another tip, I guess.
Just the tip.
Nothing but.
You know, I was going to say something profound.
Go ahead. No, continue.
No.
I'm listening.
You've ruined it.
I'm listening, Father.
I don't even know what I'm doing here. You will find as you smoke cigars, once you get into this hobby and pastime, that your favorite cigars are going to mimic your favorite foods and your favorite drinks.
Yep.
So if you go into a store and they don't ask you those questions, you know what you like to eat. You know if you're a spicy food person or meat and potatoes, or if, God forbid, a vegan. You know what your tolerances and preferences are. So a lot of people do get a little uncomfortable in humidors sometimes about
Yeah.
not wanting to show their ignorance of a subject.
Yeah.
So literally let your taste be your guide.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it could be overwhelming. You walk into a humidor for the first time, like you want to get into cigars. You walk in that humidor and you see nothing but wall.
Oh, it's a total first world problem.
And price
right?
or
Yeah.
everything. You're like,
Yeah.
where do we even start?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it can be overwhelming. But be sure that everybody started somewhere, and most of the time, everybody in a cigar shop will help you find a cigar.
Yes.
It's a very welcoming community, and they will help you on your journey for sure.
Unless they recommend an acid, and then
And then you just ignore them and walk away. We can't all have right decisions.
that's true.
Flavor cigars is
I'm gonna have to bleep that out, aren't I?
good. Yeah.
I'll just bleep
The
out
thing
that
is, you
one
can find those
spot.
acid cigars in like every gas station around town.
Yeah. No, so that leads to a bigger question that kind of goes with pairing as well, is flavored cigars. And generally what I try to do is if somebody's on flavored cigars, I try to go like, well, let's take you to this flavored to kind of move it down, the scale back to normal. Because when they smoke flavored, and there's nothing wrong with if you like flavored, there's nothing wrong with that. The whole point is I want to get you to smoking something like this Don Pepin 20th, and enjoy it, not just it be some tobacco you're smoking, because you're used to a flavored stick. And there's some really good flavored ones out there that are good for scaling it down until you are in the normal natural range.
Traditional cigars.
Traditional
Yeah.
cigars.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Look, and everybody's journey with cigars is different. And look, there's a lot of great neighborhoods to hang out in the cigar world.
Right.
Right? You know, we happen to be, for the last 22 years in Nicaragua, and we've been able to come up with 24 different unique blends.
Yeah.
We've just started our factory in Honduras.
I heard something about
Really?
that.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So we'll be launching a Honduran blend later this year,
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right.
within the next couple months.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I have a probing question. Is will we ever see
Bend over and cough.
bend over call- again with the only thing.
No.
Will we ever see a Candela from my father?
No.
No?
Really?
Is it okay for me to ask why?
Sure. It's absolutely okay for you to ask why.
Why?
That means he's going to give you an answer.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. No, look, I would say never say never.
Right.
However, I don't think Candela fits with what
Your brand is, basically.
Pepin
Gotcha.
wants to accomplish.
Okay.
So
What about Lanceros?
we have Lanceros.
No, I'm talking like taking some of the normal Lancero, like normal brands, and turning them into Lanceros. Like you imagine a Jaime Garcia Lancero.
Well, so here's the thing. In a room full, first of all, full disclosure, I touch my chest a lot apparently, so I'm gonna have to stop doing that.
Again with the OnlyFans.
Yeah. God bless America.
I told you this wasn't going to be a normal podcast.
Just give me one. Cheers.
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 We have a birthday, yes?
Oh, we do have a birthday.
We do. We're actually going to stop for a quick second and say cheers to Doc. His birthday just recently happened. He is no longer with us, and he is a wonderful human being who we miss every single day.
Every single day.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay,
Okay.
back to Lanceros.
Lanceros.
Love them.
Love them.
If we made Lanceros in every single blend that we did, I would be a happy cigar smoker. the unfortunate thing is, in a room full of 200 people,
Yeah.
we would be the only ones that would pick a Lancero.
That's a good point.
Right? It is not, unfortunately, a popular smoking size. I think it's the best size to get the actual factory. We've actually blended the cigar experience. Right? It's the right ratio of wrapper, binder, and filler.
Yep.
It's just unfortunately has fallen out of favor. Now I will say that in the core Don Pepin Garcia original blue line, that Lancero is absolutely fantastic.
I think we're going to have to try that sometime.
No, we are going to have to try that.
And then right after this break, we're going to tell you why people don't smoke the Lancero, because it's incredible. Welcome back.
Thanks for the break.
You're welcome. Yeah, I thought you needed a little bit
I
of a break.
did. I
there.
needed to stretch my legs.
yeah, smoke break.
So the biggest thing that I've seen, and I've been told this by many people, is the reason they don't smoke Lanceros is the look, which is it's crazy. It's a narrow little stick and stuff like that. It doesn't have that traditional cigar. You got to get over that, because
Absolutely.
like Eric said, they are amazing smokes.
I think it's very comfortable to smoke a Lancero. I think
Yeah.
it's comfortable in the hand, and I think you're right. It gives you the full experience of the cigar and how it was intended to be smoked in the first place.
Yeah.
I enjoy it thoroughly.
You enjoy any particular Lanceros? You like Lanceros?
Yes, I do. I think, but also what he said though about what the cigar also says on there is just you smoke your eyes essentially.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot of people, like when they look at it, it's not what they're going to gravitate
I
towards.
mean, you're not getting your bang for your buck.
Right.
You see it.
Right.
and it's
There's
like,
there's a perceived value.
Yeah.
Right. Lanceros are always, not always, but usually they're more expensive than the Churchill Toro Gordo size in any particular line. But if you're a cigar nerd like I am, you know that the Lancero rollers in a factory are the top-notch rollers.
Oh yeah.
Is that
Think
right?
about how small it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
And how compact you have to get it. I can only imagine.
think about how gentle you have to be to bunch that cigar
Yeah.
to make sure that it's not plugged. Now, on the other side of it, you have to smoke a Lancero different than you would a Toro or a Churchill.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you need to take your time with it, smoke it incredibly slow. A Lancero should be an almost 2-hour cigar.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And that's the problem I have though. Is like
Information.
with cigars, I smoke it. I smoke every cigar pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame on
Quicker
you.
than normal. It's a shame on me. It just is what it is. But
Shame.
I think that the Lancero forces me to slow down,
Sure.
Yeah.
to enjoy it more so than normal.
Right, and that's what you want anyway with a cigar, right? You want to take your time and relax and be in the moment, whether it's with a group of people or solitary after a day of work or celebration or commiseration.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Lanceros are interesting. I would smoke Lanceros all day long.
Yeah.
And I would be completely happy. Now there's also some blends, you know, you mentioned Jaime, that probably wouldn't work in a Lancero because of like that Connecticut broadleaf Maduro.
Right.
It's a pretty thick wrapper.
It is.
So maybe that doesn't translate. I don't know. I'm not Pepin
Right.
nor Jaime. But I think some blends shine in a Lancero, and maybe there's a reason why we don't do some blends in Lanceros.
Right.
We do make a Corona Gorda in the Jaime, though. That's delicious.
Oh yeah.
Really, I just-
So if you like small ring gauges, that's an option.
I guess my next question would be, what's the future for My Father Cigars? What are we going to see? You think we'll see? I know you talked about the successor, the Jaime Garcia successor. They're not producing anymore.
For now.
Now.
It's a limited
Right.
release. Yeah.
But what's the future for My Father? What should we expect to see? Somebody, especially somebody who's new, they're going to be like, "Oh man, I'm going to try this brand. This is great."
Oh, yeah.
And then now you're going to tell them, and look out for this.
our Honduran blends that are going to come out this year.
How many different blends are you going to release? Do you know yet?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
Are you willing to?
No, absolutely
Nope.
not.
It's
Worth
okay.
a shot.
Just
Worth
look
a
out
shot.
for them.
It's more than one.
Okay, good. Good.
But what we're doing is we're going to be the blend or blends
Yeah.
that are coming out are going to be a mixture of Honduran and Nicaraguan tobacco to start with.
Nice.
So
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be delicious.
Oh, I'm excited. I
we,
can't
we,
wait.
we will, I'm sure, at some point do a Honduran Puro,
Yeah.
but we will be easing into it. So
We're expecting this to release sometime this year or next year, or do you know yet?
it'll launch at our trade show in April. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
2025.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Very cool. That's interesting. Some
We
good stuff.
also, sorry to interrupt.
No,
I
go ahead.
apologize. We also have a new limited edition cigar coming out this year. It is the 20th anniversary of the Don Pepin series JJ, the white label.
Oh.
So,
So you may see an exorbitant amount of my father sticks in the year 2025 of this podcast. That's for
And
sure.
I'm not complaining about that
Yeah.
one bit.
I don't have to.
Again,
be
we're
here,
not
though, right?
biased.
Oh yeah, you had to be here.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But no, that I don't know when the anniversary or the limited edition JJ is coming out. I've seen the cigars in it, and there's a surprise in the box, which is kind of cool. I've seen the box; it's beautiful.
I love it when they do that. I just love it when they do that.
It's like a to be continued.
Yeah.
Little tease at the end of a show.
Do you remember the Jaime Garcia limited editions that had one special cigar in the bottom row?
Yes. I never got a chance to try that one.
There might be something like that with the JJ.
Oh.
So,
Sounds like someone needs to get a hold of a box.
Probably three.
might know a guy.
Yeah, I know. So we become like a dealer in the back of a street alley. It's like, you got that box for me?
You got that box for me, man?
but no, I'm excited about Honduras. I'm excited to see what the Garcias have done. I've seen some pictures of the factory. I've seen some pictures of the fields, excuse me, and
Did they ever disclose the reason why they felt like they wanted to branch out to Honduras?
yeah,
Was there a particular reason why?
yeah.
I love his answers. I love his answers. Yeah.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, sure. You can answer those questions? I sure can. Are you gonna? No.
Nope.
Stay tuned.
We
the
haven't
mystery.
we haven't done one thing that we typically do.
What's
with
that?
A, with a
At least
whiskey
you two
pairing.
do.
That's true.
We gotta punch our tips.
We got it. We got it. God almighty. First time I've heard it called that. So
Yeah.
we had a cigar rep who shall not be named, who was really irritated at me because I like to dip the tip and try it in the libation I'm drinking. And he said it was sacrilege. And I'm like, yeah, but I like it. He goes, you can't do that. You can't do that. So we do that now, almost out of spite.
Yeah, honestly.
Look, spite's a great reason to
It
do
is.
a lot of stuff. So go ahead and dip your tip.
Oh, that's where it's at. Oh, it even made the full draw like a lot cooler too.
Oh, it's so fantastic.
You go try it, Doc.
Maybe in a minute.
All right.
Oh, it's so good. And
I think one of the benefits of doing it is whenever you feel like you're hotboxing it, I feel like it does help cool down the cigar. But then again, you shouldn't smoke that fast. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
stop,
you shouldn't.
stop shaming me, okay?
You started it.
Oh,
So
well,
excuse me.
someone's got to. But it's this cigar is how you like to smoke it in any form or fashion, just
That's
like
right.
whiskey. So
That's right.
don't come at me. But I'm glad I said something about the dip in the tip because I was about running out of real estate to hold the cigar.
There you go. There you go.
I'm gonna real quick pour some more for myself. Anybody else who would like some more?
Hit me with a nub of that.
Yeah, you know what? If you wouldn't mind,
Perfect.
please.
You don't want to tip your tip?
You know how to dip your
Perfect,
tip.
thank you.
What?
No, no, thank you.
I'm going to shame you now.
Okay.
So-
No, the,
Describe
Try
the
it.
bottle for us real
You're a
quick.
ginger.
If you don't mind.
yeah, yeah.
I'm half ginger, thank you very much.
I can't be shamed.
I'm
I don't
only
have a
half-
soul.
I only have half the soul and I'm only half the problem, okay?
Dun dun dun.
Okay.
So for all of our audio listeners here, the bottle here, the Southern Comfort, is it's a tall, skinny bottle.
Kind of like a wine bottle.
Yes, and then it's going to have the Southern Comfort label right in the middle, and on the bottom here it's going to have a, I would say, how would you describe that label shape?
Diagonal.
Diagonal label on the bottom, giving you the information you need about the proof, the type of whiskey it is. So this is a single barrel straight rye whiskey. This is actually a pick from a liquor store called Riverstone, and they call it the Riverstone Royal. What's really cool about the Southern Collective is, so they do all these kind of picks with other companies, and they get to actually personalize the dip on the top. So on the top of the neck, where they dipped the wax into the to cover the cap, they chose a all black with a spiral of red and white wax.
It's
So
beautiful.
It's very
It's
beautiful.
a gorgeous bottle.
Very
Even though,
Eddie Van Halen-ish.
right.
Okay, I like that. That was great. That's a great description.
Here of late, I think Josh can agree, we have a disdain for wax seals around corks because sometimes they just can be very difficult to open up. It's like, I want to get in the bottle.
Rare
and it's
character.
Like,
Yeah.
either you have to pull out a pocket knife and cut it, or if the little pull tab they put on it, it's just like, it doesn't want to move. But other than
Give me a
that,
pull,
I think it looks
at least
beautiful.
give me a pull tab.
At least a pull
give
tab.
me a pull tab.
That's all I ask.
I don't want to have to get a razor blade out to go cut open a bottle.
Exactly. Thing is, because I love the wax. The wax looks beautiful.
Oh, it
and
does.
you want to
So
save the
nice.
wax, but if you have to wind up cutting it and then you tear it, and then you got to take the whole wax off because it just looks dumb at that point.
Yeah.
But I think the extra effort they put into it. is
No,
great.
it's beautiful.
And I haven't seen wax like that before with it.
Yeah, I think they really. The one really cool thing I can say they do is that they give the customer, the liquor store or whoever's buying the barrel, their choice of wax color with the spiral of the other different colors that they add on top of that. Just gives it that next little umph of
Unique.
what we talked about with, like, if a bottle is sitting on a shelf,
Oh, you can see that from.
it gives that extra little bit of like
Sure.
that's a pretty cool bottle. I might pick that up.
Yeah.
Shoot, that's what I did.
Sure, so we do
It
it all
worked.
the time.
No, it worked.
That's why we have this issue.
And again, that will sell at once, right? The wax will
Yep.
sell at once, but the juice that's inside. This is a beautiful bottle of whiskey.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
And if you're typically not a rye person at all, I definitely try to, at least if you can, go to most liquor stores will let you sample things. Try some ryes out, see which one you like, because there's bound to be a rye out there that's on the sweeter end and not so much a spice overload. And it'll if you're a bourbon person, that bourbon forward rye will lead you down a path that then you start going to deeper and deeper ryes, and all of a sudden you're getting a super heavy rye whiskey.
Yeah.
Like, how did I get here? It was a slow burn, but I think it's a good journey to have if you want to switch it up a little bit.
It's like how everything is. You start from everything from cigars to whiskey. Is that you
Yes.
start, this direction. Like when I first drank whiskey, was Jack Daniel's honey, of all
Yes.
things.
Super sweet.
And it was like really sweet, but it was just a very good entry point to get me somewhere, and then just took me down this whole rabbit hole of 200
Higher
plus
proof
bottles later.
and,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
single
a lot
barrels.
of bottles later,
Oh, yeah.
I am where I am now, and it's just same thing with cigars. It's like I started off with a crazy assortment of cigars, but like a lot of my friends who were just starting off, they preferred the either the sweet tip or maybe like a tobacco or something like that. But then you just move them along.
Standing
Yes.
in front of that building, and he and I are smoking a cigar,
Yes.
Eric.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Can I try that?" And then he's tried it, and Metal looked at me, and he goes, "This is
gonna be a problem."
It's going to be a problem for him. He's going to get into this like he does everything
he
else."
got me hooked on it, and like he was saying, it's true. Like I started out with like Camacho Connecticut's, something light.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I slowly turned into a Maduro fan, and like Maduro is my sweet spot. That's what I love. And then Oscuro and everything else in between is just that's what I love. And I think that's a good whiskey's the same way. I
Sure.
think.
Right. Again, it's taste bud stimulation,
Yes.
right? So again, it's going to mimic what you enjoy outside of
Yeah.
Yeah.
cigars.
Take it slow.
Yeah.
For me, what got me into ryes, because I hated them, was Basil Hayden.
Really.
Basil Hayden rye was the only rye I had tried that was so low key that it stepped me into it. And then these guys introduced me to ryes that are phenomenal, and now I love ryes.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it's a good journey, and we weren't the biggest rye persons at the get go.
No.
Nowhere near. Just like these two jabronis over here, are massive Scotch fans.
Oh, yes.
And I was never a Scotch person whatsoever. Any kind of Scotch you put in front of me, nah, not happening. Same thing with stout beer. Like they would be drinking Guinness stouts and enjoying it, and I wanted to try it. It's so dark, it looked good, it smelled great, but the bitterness and all that just hit me like.
Now he's right up there with us. Like,
Now I'm up on that level.
The chewier the stout, the better.
Oh,
He is
I
all
love
over
it. I want to be like molasses, like I'm drinking motor oil.
Look, I
sweetness.
think beer you should not be able to see through. And
Thank you. That's the right answer.
That
Anybody that
is
drinks
drinkable
IPAs,
beer.
it's like chewing hay. And it is awful.
On the first episode, Daniel joined us, right? Yeah. And he is an IPA drinker, but he drinks everything. His palate is ridiculous. He can eat and drink anything and likes all of them. And his common trick for me is he goes, try this. And I go, okay, no matter what it is, just to see if it gives me that face. And in the beginning, it was probably 5 years ago, you put an IPA in front of me, and it's like, oh, the face was just grotesque. I still don't like IPAs. Don't get me wrong. I still don't like them. But it doesn't give me that face as much anymore. And I'm like, no.
What kills me, though, is like IPAs, like their packaging is so beautiful. Like their artwork on their cans on IPAs are beautiful artworup.
They got to do something to make
great.
them
You're thinking, man, that must be fantastic. Now see, and then I look down and it says IPA, like, oh, I don't want it.
Skip.
I don't want it. Yes.
But I agree with you though. Like you said, I could not even like stand one sip of an IPA. But now I'm like, I can take a sip. Like, hey, it's the only beer at the party. Yeah, I'll probably sip all one.
Yeah.
But
Maybe I'd rather drink Coors Light.
We've got a local place here called Hop City, which has such a wide variety. It's wonderful. If you've got a place like that where you live, go there and ask them and tell them, I don't really know what I like, but I'd like to try something. They'll give you what's called a flight.
The best thing to go to is a brewery or a place like Hop City where you walk in and you see their whole wall is covered with different options. That's you're in the right place. When it has a whole wall full of taps, that means they're going to let you able to try everything down that list, from sours to meads to stouts to IPAs.
that's a great way to start off if you're wanting to try to pair up, a new beer with your favorite cigar. You can go there. And you can
Most of
try
those occasions let you smoke cigars outside,
Yeah.
so it's
That's what we do.
fantastic.
Yep.
Yes, it's great.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, to wrap this up, tell us where's the best place anybody can do some research and anything about My Father's Cigars, and what's the next steps for them once they start that?
So our website, myfathercigars.com. We also have a presence on social media, so you can use the Google.
The Google.
Or the Facebook,
Yep.
My Father Cigars, Instagram, My Father Cigars, the Garcia family. And just be on the lookout at your local cigar store in the next couple months for our
Oh,
new
I can't wait.
releases.
I
So,
can't wait.
Yeah.
We're going to have to plan another podcast
Okay.
with you this
Sure.
year just for some of this new
Just
stuff.
for the releases,
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Okay.
I'm going to say
I'm
we're
down.
not biased. We've said that multiple times, but I don't know if that's going to be true.
I also love
You can be biased.
love the knowledge bomb that you bring to with these cigars and everything.
Yeah.
I love it because
Yeah.
Yes.
like the Lancero tips about like the the high end rollers. Also, I always heard it with the Figurados, but never with the Lanceros. I didn't know
Right.
that at all. And then
It
really,
makes
I
total
never heard
sense.
of also you have to you don't have to, but you should slow the your pull on a Lancero. Just like I said, stuff like that. It's just really
Yeah.
cool for. Even somebody who's been smoking as long as I have. It's like, oh, these are some cool tips.
How long have you been smoking?
What, 3 years probably?
I think it's more than that.
I think it's been about 4.
4?
It's more than 3 years.
What about you, Gar?
You add,
Five.
add a year to it, yeah.
Okay.
5 years, something like that.
Okay.
About 20.
He's a lot older than we are.
Yeah.
We look old, but we're actually not.
I've been smoking since I was about 18.
Yeah.
21 you mean, right?
No, it was 18. It was definitely 18. Yeah, I'm not even going to deny that. Well, because back then 18 wasn't
What was the age?
was
Was
the
the
age.
age.
Yeah.
They've just recently changed.
Well,
it.
I stayed away from
Really?
smoking for a long time because
Like,
my
a
father
year or two ago?
smoked cigarettes
Oh, I thought it was
majorly, and I just disdained anything from smoking wise.
Okay.
And then later down the line, especially meeting him, it's like there's a difference, a huge, massive difference between cigarettes and cigars.
Oh, 100%.
And,
Oh, God,
and,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
opens
We'll do a
up
whole
new
episode
world.
about that.
So
Sure.
I
You
think-
should.
Yeah.
it's a
You
great
should.
journey, and I think it's. I think it's a habit. I guess it really is a habit, but it's an enjoyable habit that's not gonna
Yeah.
be detrimental to you at all, in my opinion.
Yeah. Brothers and sisters of the leaf is what the typical saying is.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's about the time you have, because the time we've been smoking this, we're all about generally around the same range, and that's
Except
what
for
it's
Garth.
about. Except for Garth,
We're close. Okay.
we're all about the same, and it really is. You're forced in a good way to stop and talk.
Size doesn't always matter.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's about. You will find, we were actually discussing this earlier at the cigar shop today, was how it draws in, it's going to sound really bad, but like a certain level of intelligence of people. It brings in a people who are willing to have discussions about a myriad of things.
Sure, and I think the greatest thing for me about cigars is that this might be the impetus to go to a cigar store, but it slowly becomes the least important thing in the room.
Exactly.
You're not wrong. You're
not
not wrong.
Oh, I know I'm not.
The deep conversations we've had, at like the chairs back here or tables or anywhere on a back porch somewhere. They're some of the best conversations we had about life and love and things that you would typically wouldn't talk about if you're just sitting there at the table by yourself.
I think it was Winston Churchill who said every major decision in the world has always been made with cigars.
I don't know enough about Winston Churchill to argue that point. But
I may have the wrong person, but I think it was him who said it.
Okay.
Yes. The amount of cigars that man smoked today, he never didn't have a cigar lit at one point in time.
Yeah.
Sounds like David and me.
There's a great documentary on Netflix about cigars that came out, by the way. I would recommend.
Anyway, we appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Eric.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Josh.
you very much.
Thank you, Josh. I get it first.
He does.
Thank you, Garth.
I
We're just going
guess.
to do cheers all around. Appreciate everybody. Remember, like, share, subscribe. You can find us on our Discord.
Cheers.
It is the Arc of Fire Studios Discord, which also seconds as the Whiskey Tobacco Fellowship Discord. You will see the link below. Hit all the subscribe, all the buttons. You're all tech savvy. You know how to do it. And if you don't, I can't help you. So other than that, we appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next time on the next exciting adventure of the
Whiskey.
Tobacco.
Fellowship.
All right. And next time I'm not even going to point. We're just going to do it.
You don't have to
That's it.
point. I'm not stupid.
Thanks
I
again,
smoke a
Mr.
cigar. I'm smart. As you said it.
Well,
I did.
If you want, if you want to be smart, smoke a cigar.
I didn't say that.
And if you get to our Discord, by the way, this is Arc of Fire. He is the main man on Discord. This is Smokey D. Baron, and I'm Sir Metal Knight. And we'll help you with anything you need.
yep. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.